Hello everyone, you're listening to HSAIR, Homeschool Alumni's Internet Radio. I'm your host, Joshua Van Vleet. In this edition of HSAIR, we're spotlighting the Spring 2007 HSA Eurpean Tour, and we'll hear all about it from the tour attendees in just a moment. But first, we have a word from the HSA Eurpean Tour Planning Committee.
Hello HSA, this is Heather O with an update from the stateside operations base for the 2007 Eurpean Tour. The reports are in. Everyone has safely reached their destination and had an amazing time. Keep an eye on the reunion and events forum for trip reflections and pictures and for news about future events. Welcome home everyone, it's great to have you back.
Thanks to the hard work of the HSA Eurpean Tour Planning Committee, all the tour attendees had a great time in Europe visiting many places in Europe. Some of these places include Frankfurt, Munich, and Freiburg, Germany, Strasbourg, France, Salzburg, Austria, Rothenburg, Germany, Pisa, Florence, Cortona, Rome, and Venice, Italy, as well as a whole bunch of small country towns and villages along the way. And not only did the tour attendees get to see many different cities in Europe, they also had the opportunity to explore some places like St. Bartholomew's Church in Frankfurt, the Strasbourg Cathedral, Neuschwanstein Castle, which was used as a model for Cinderella's Castle by Disney, the birthplace of Mozart, the classical composer, some of the sites used for the filming of The Sound of Music in Salzburg, Austria, Hohensalzburg Fortress, as well as the World War II Dachau concentration camp. They also got to see some more familiar locations such as the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the canals in Venice, the Vatican, the Pantheon, and the Colosseum in Rome. To share a little of what it was like to tour Europe with a group of fellow homeschool alumni, here's Emilie C.
Hi, this is Emilie C. Every day of the European tour was filled with adventure and fun experiences, and I'd like to read you one of my blog entries from March 20th of Freiburg, Germany, and Strasbourg, France, to show you what I mean. This morning after breakfast, Emily Spiller and Nellie decided to decorate the large chalkboard in the entrance to the hostel. They wanted a distinctive way to say, "The homeschoolers were here." Humming "Swinging on a Star," they worked on it for some time, drawing a window, a computer with HSA's address and tree logo, and a bookshelf with a Bible, a book marked HSA, and a Saxon math book. We were joking that the only person who would get the Saxon math reference was a homeschooler. Each tour-goer also added a stick figure, some with props like a camera for Riley or a snare drum for me, and our names. We decided it was very cool. Then we were all gathered and ready to go to Strasbourg, France. Our van had Micala, Mike, Rowena, Dad, me, Vince, Joel, Noah, and Riley. We talked and laughed the entire time, and Rowena said that Dad was fun. He was. At one point, Noah played some disco-type music, and Vince started us all laughing with his groovy disco moves. I could not believe it. Was this the stoic, analytical Vincent I thought I knew, or has he been abducted by aliens and replaced with a disco dancer? Riley got it on film. He reports, you decide. Micala was in heaven in France. She had hardly seen 5 minutes out the window before she said, "Oh yeah, I could live here." In fact, she spent barely 5 minutes out of the car before the parking man grabbed her arm and wanted a picture, and then pecked her cheek charmingly. I was horrified and stuck closer to Dad, but maybe that's just me. Micala even took home a little bag of French dirt, which John Paul inspected and declared to be exactly like California dirt. Micala didn't care. Strasbourg had many more old buildings than Frankfurt. In fact, I don't know if we saw any modern buildings at all. It was all cobblestone and wooden doors and iron railings, exactly the way France was supposed to look. It made all the history I had ever read about the Reign of Terror, Tale of Two Cities, or Les Miserables just come to life. Eclairs and baguettes were quickly found and enjoyed, and we wandered among the narrow streets in groups. Camden instructed us that every group had to have at least 2 guys in it, and watch out for the thieves. We were cautious and enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. French women are impeccably dressed in the height of fashion, and they are much more feminine looking to me than German women, with softer lines to their clothes and their hair down, and less harsh expressions. Yet the Germans we actually interacted with were friendly, even warm, and seemed delighted to talk to us or help us. Strasbourg has a massive, intricate, amazing cathedral that we all toured, and some climbed to its 30-plus step height. We were told about this cathedral's magnificent clock by the chef in Germany, and he was right. It filled an entire room, decorated with statuary and paintings, with figures that walked, with legs moving, to ring the hours. There was a globe showing the current stars visible in this hemisphere, gears keeping track of the year, a separate circular section keeping track of the days of the month, and yet another one keeping track of the days of the week. There was so much to take in, and everything had so much artistry and detail that it was astounding. We ate lunch in Strasbourg. Dad, Vince, Emily Spiller, John Paul, and I all went off for lunch first, and found a sandwich shop with a jovial old Frenchman in a squeezing tight single-file shop, who spoke not a word of English, but was delighted whenever we took a picture. He didn't have most of what was pictured on his menu, which didn't seem to faze him or diminish his cheerfulness a bit, and all 5 of us ended up ordering doner kebabs, which were sandwiches full of shredded rotisserie meat in a lovely, thick, chewy, pita-shaped bread. Also lettuce, tomato, onions, ranch dressing, and a few slaw-like ingredients that I couldn't identify. When he was making my sandwich, I indicated to him that I didn't want the onions, and he turned to me with this exaggerated woebegone expression as if to say, "Oh, you must have the onions." So we all laughed, and I said, "Okay, just a little then." He beamed and piled them high. I was glad he did once I took a bite. We 5 walked back to the agreed-upon meeting place, talking and savoring our delicious doner kebabs, and found the rest of the HSAIRs who hadn't eaten yet. Camden saw us coming and walked towards me, looking appreciatively at my sandwich. "Wow, that looks good." Dad ended up leading a pack of 22 back to the doner kebab place and told the French shop owner, "I brought friends." Dad, Vince, and John Paul and I left the others to have their sandwiches made and went in search of ice cream, which we found in a charming little shop that served ice cream in crystal bowls, while we sat at black iron chairs with little tables, just like an ice cream shop should look. Vince had cantaloupe ice cream, which had a very strong cantaloupe taste, and I thought it was refreshing and surprisingly delicious. Vince shared a bite. It made me wish that's what I had ordered. After Strasbourg, we took an exploratory trip through orange-roofed villages surrounded by neat rows of gnarly vineyards. It was so old-fashioned and frozen in time that more than one person commented that it looked like a place where the fairy tales were written. We found a path up the mountain overlooking the village in the valley, and drove up the spiraling, tree-covered way until we came to a walking trail. We all piled out and hiked among the beautiful forest with large, mossy boulders. We saw delicate white edelweiss flowers in the forest, so beautiful. A lookout point was found, and we gazed over all the villages now dotted with lights and vineyards. A bit farther up the hiking trail gave us the silhouette of a castle, which was awesome, but we had to turn back because of darkness. We went back to the hostel, and many people said that they were very glad they visited France, but most agreed that Germany was more to their taste and were glad we'd be spending more time here in Germany. I have to agree, but I thought France was undoubtedly beautiful. We all had such great conversations with all the HSAIRs here, and everyone was so comfortable with each other and had so much camaraderie.
On the HSA European tour, Emilie C took with her a digital voice recorder in order to get some on-location answers to some basic interview questions. Here are some of the tour goers' responses as they enjoyed their European experience. First question, why did you decide to go on the HSA European tour?
Well, I'm going on this tour because it's an opportunity to meet a lot of great young people on HSA, and my daughter invited me to be here, going along with my son, and I'm looking forward to the adventure of meeting and seeing a lot of new places, and I've never been to so many cities in so few days. So I'm excited about it. We've just checked in, and we're just getting started.
I know you don't want me to say fencing, but I am going on this tour to see Europe and do fencing, or do fencing and see Europe at in that order.
Well, this is Camille from Missouri, and honestly, I didn't think a whole lot about it beforehand, but the opportunity came up, and I was on spring break, so here I am.
This is Emily Spiller from Missouri, and I've always wanted to tour Europe, so the second I heard there was a possibility, I jumped all over it.
This is Elizabeth from Tennessee. I've always wanted to go to Europe, so this was like a great opportunity, and that's why I'm here.
Hi, this is Rowena Mosier from Missouri. And actually, I looked at the thread about coming, and I thought, wow, I've always wanted to go to Europe, and then I realized I actually could.
This is Andrew from Missouri, and pretty much I heard Europe and was like, deal.
Hi, this is Annie from Missouri, and I've always been interested in German and Germany, and so I really was excited at the chance to come.
Hi, this is Amy from Wisconsin, and I've heard about it from Carrie and Annie, or the HSA tour, and I always wanted to go to Europe with friends, so here I am.
My name is Carrie from Missouri, and I came because the French guy's really cute.
This is Camden from Missouri. I'm here in Europe. I came to hang out with all the homeschoolers and see Europe.
Hi, this is Emily Sanciola from Ohio. I came on the tour because going to Europe has been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I think this also proves how far I will go to be on an HSA reunion.
Second question. What are you most looking forward to seeing on the HSA European tour?
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing some new countries because I've never been to Europe, so I'm really looking forward to it, and get to see where some of my family grew up out here before they migrated over to the United States. So.
Do it again, I didn't hear you.
Fencing.
I'm looking forward to visiting Alsace-Lorraine in France.
This is Emily Spiller, and I came with the intent to soak up as much of the culture as I could.
This is Camille from Missouri, and I didn't exactly read the itinerary before we left, so I don't know much what to expect here as far as sites, but I was definitely interested to see just how different things are here and how able I was to get around inside it.
It is Elizabeth from Tennessee, and I came because I wanted to go to Italy and everywhere, and I was hoping to get as many stamps in my passport as possible.
Now start now.
This is Rowena Mosier from Missouri, and I've always wanted to see Austria ever since I was a little girl pretending I was Julie Andrews.
This is Annie from Missouri, and I'm really looking forward to being in the different cultures and seeing the different people and how they live and going to Salzburg, Austria. This is Carrie from Missouri, and I've always wanted to see the Alps and Switzerland, but I don't think we're going to Switzerland, but we're going to see the Alps or some part of it or something. So I'm looking forward to that.
What is the second question? Help me out here.
What are you most looking forward to?
Oh, what am I most looking forward to seeing? Austria. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the castles that we're going to see in Austria. All right, thanks.
Question number 3. What was your favorite meal?
My most memorable meal, I guess, I mean, there's so many of them that are memorable, but what sticks out to me is actually going to see up to that town, the Bielatal town. There was a local restaurant there, I think it was called like the Willis Restaurant, and I went in there and asked the fellow if we could all eat there, and they were actually like, there was almost nobody there, and we gave them a little time to prepare, and we went in there, and we had one big long table, and we had so much fun. I mean, everybody was laughing, and we had I guess what's called Flammkuchen, something like that. It was like a cracker pizza with cheese spread all around it, and some variations. I mean, there was like some vegetables, some garlic, and some meat. And we just had a blast communicating with the waitresses and the chef took time out and spoke to us all, and we just had so much fun there.
What was it like to travel with fellow homeschool alumni?
Dan Eldridge, traveling with other HSAers was just a blast. I just loved it. I laughed so much. I had such a great time.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the people back home?
What would I say to other HSAers back home? I would just say, hey, take any opportunity you can to get out there and check out the world. It really gives you a much better perspective in life. I would describe the tour in one word as just awesome. Camden, Nellie, Heather, my hat's off to you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
To end this edition of HSAIR, Mike and Micala have volunteered to read a poem written by Henry Van Dyke, who is better known as the author of The Hymn of Joy, which is entitled America for Me.
America for Me by Henry Van Dyke. 'Tis fine to see the old world, and travel up and down among the famous palaces and cities of renown, to admire the crumbling castles and the statues of the kings, but now I think I've had enough of antiquated things.
So it's home again, America for me. My heart is turning home again, and there I long to be. In a land of youth and freedom, beyond the ocean bars, where the air is full of sunlight, and the flag is full of stars.
Well, London is a man's town, there's power in the air, and Paris is a woman's town with flowers in her hair. And it's sweet to dream in Venice, and it's great to study Rome, but when it comes to living, there's no place like home.
I like the German fir woods and green battalions drilled. I like the gardens of Versailles, with flashing fountains filled. But oh, to take your hand, my dear, and ramble for a day in the friendly western woodland where nature has her way.
I know that Europe's wonderful, yet something seems to lack. The past is too much with her, and the people looking back. But the glory of the present is to make the future free. We love our land for what she is and what she is to be.
Oh, it's home again, America for me. I want a ship that's westward bound to plow the rolling sea, to the blessed land of room enough beyond the ocean bars, where the air is full of sunlight and the flag is full of stars.
And this concludes this edition of HSAIR. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Be sure to keep an eye out in the reunions, events, and get-togethers section of the forums for more tours, such as the Spring 2007 HSA European Tour, and an opportunity for you to explore new places with fellow homeschool alumni. This is Joshua Van Vleet with HSAIR, signing off.
Hello, I am Miss X, this month's unknown guest. Who do you think I am? Well, after you have finished listening to this program, please go to the foyer. You will see a poll with 4 names on it. One of those names belongs to me. Which one do you think I am? Thanks for listening to this month's edition of HSAIR. See you around HSA.